Hey everyone, it's Rob Ryder. I just did a video a couple days ago, so I'm glad to see you. We may be getting close to the end because an FR 500 new business was registered today on 11/2018. We'll get into what that is later. But what the idea is well, how do you get the state to agree? The answer would be well, to get its acknowledgement, right? That it does agree with your point of view instead of with their point of view, whoever they are, the adversary. Right? So we need to get their acknowledgement. Well, how would you do that? So this is a story in my last 24 hours that started with a phone call from a guy that I'll tell a little bit of his story and what it propelled me to do, which is what I believe is going to be the answer for everyone in this fiasco that we're in. No matter where you are in the world, it will be something the same if you're under the Western system. It's the same system all over the place. Right? If you're under English common law, well, I think it applies. But let's see how we get there. So what happened was I got a phone call yesterday from a guy that had watched the video I did this summer where I showed this fictitious name statement for Lazario Gabriel Angulo, a married man. Right? These were the fictitious names that Lazario was going to go claim as the living man. So two fictitious names, where they're at. So these are businesses. Right? That's really what those are. It's doing business under a fictitious name. But the living man, the individual, is down here. However, you see where it says individual, corp, LLC. Well, those are all different names of businesses, right? And an individual would be a sole proprietorship. In a sole proprietorship, the living man and his business are the same thing. You are your business, right? It's not like there's a different place. No, you are your business. And I had shown in the videos I had done just a couple days ago. So if you haven't seen that one, you need to go back. Just look at where you're at now and hit upload, or not upload, but you can sort by date, by upload date. And just see the last two I did just before this one. And so he ends up as an individual, business, sole proprietorship, no difference between the business or the man, taking this to court for a traffic ticket. And he said to the judge, Your Honor, can I show you a legal document? And the judge said, yeah, bring it up here. And he showed it to him. So this doesn't have anything to do with his ticket that he's there for. Looks like he's claiming the names of property, like this is similar to what you may see it as the grantee on a grant deed, security deed, warranty deed, whatever you call it. Both of these. He just made up a couple names for all I know. He just said, well, I'm claiming these two names because he could do business under those now. He registered them. But because because the county had sealed this and agreed that this dude was at this address, then the shit they had on the frickin' ticket didn't match. And here's the ticket, right? So it's not for the same guy at the same address. It's like, hey, this is simulation of a legal process. And so the judge said, can you pay a $20 administration fee? And Lazaro said, yeah. The guy said, case dismissed. Boom. Go downstairs and pay the fee and have a good day. So the guy that called me yesterday wanted to do the same thing and put it into a foreclosure. I believe it was out in California. And he's living in Georgia now, but the property was in California. And they wouldn't let him do this. So instead of getting upset and doing nothing, he decided, well, I'm going to go see if I can get it someplace else. So he took it to Minnesota because, if you listen to enough people talk on the internet, they talk about, I think it's Minnesota Rule 220, to do with the birth certificate and so forth. And they get it registered. Well, you can do the same thing with an assumed name. And so he did, and he just used the names and the information just as he would have when he did it in California. He didn't change anything. He put it on here, even though this is Minnesota. I think he said he put his name backwards, though. Rutluski, Robert Allen, because you do see it that way in a lot of documents. But whatever. And technically, that is you because it's your last name first. And because they say it's your last name first, then it is your last name first. Because in law, they have a thing called your legal name, and your legal name is your, depending on who you talk to, is your first name, middle name, last name. Right? So it doesn't matter what order they are, but those three, that way, is your legal name. And so I showed on documents in my previous video where they had done this. Anyways, he gets this thing filled out from the state, and a few days later, he gets a call that says that his court case has been dismissed. The foreclosure against him was dismissed. He hadn't done anything except file for this. And a few days later, he's getting a phone call saying it was. And so, he ended up calling back up to Minnesota. They said, yeah, I don't know if they told him that that it went to all the different Secretary of States, or if he just realized that it did, because again, he didn't do anything, and his court case was dismissed. Oh, hang on a second. Okay, sorry about that. Hopefully I can get this video done. Again, I'm just trying to get that out as public information for my public record as much as trying to teach from it, or not even teach, but just explain in detail. I'm just covering some high points to get to what I'm really here for. So he had done this. The case gets dismissed. And then a traffic case he had got dismissed. And he has a friend in the police, and so he said, "Hey, can you run my ID for me, my ID number, because his court case got dismissed or something." And he said that he's in the witness protection program. So I haven't seen any of his paperwork yet, right? But the guy called me and told me the story, so I'm telling you, and I'm not going to go into too much more detail because I don't have the paperwork. I just know that he said that these things had happened. He also said if you were to go take your deed of trust and you look at who the borrower is, now listen to what I'm saying, who the borrower is, right? The legal fiction they use for the borrower, and the address they use for the lender, not the lender's name, but the address, and you put them together on a to do a change of address and say that's the address you want to change and that it's a business, because it is, that's what that legal fiction is, it's a business. That mail is already being created and it's going to the address that the borrower or that the lender has. But if you take it with the name of the borrower and the address of the lender and you do a change of address, the mail will come to you if you change the address to your address. Just go look at a change of address form. And you can do this online, and apparently there's all sorts of things that this is being done with, right? That they're using a legal fiction and an address to create an entity, like a business, having mail go there that should be going to you, but it's going to this legal fiction that you are supposed to be the owner of. Because we're replacing us with legal fictions. Crazy shit, isn't it? So that was so interesting, and it was just a wonderful story. I said, wow, okay. So I'm sitting here today. I was doing this or that, and as the day went on, I said, well, I got to go see what we could do in Michigan, because I shouldn't really had to go to Minnesota. It's like, no, I just have to register with the state. That's all he had done different, and that's a big thing, right? But he didn't register with the county. He registered with the state. I said, okay, well, how do I register my sole proprietorship, which I have now, by an EIN from the IRS? Please watch the previous two videos and you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, I got an EIN from the IRS as a sole proprietor in my own name. I want to go register that with the state. But in Michigan, you can't register a sole proprietorship with the state. So that was the dilemma. It's like, okay, well, I could make it a limited liability corporation. But to do that, I got to put after my name, comma, LLC. And I said, no, I don't want to do that either. That just doesn't sound right. And what I wanted to do is, I couldn't do in Minnesota because it's not really an assumed name. I'm trying to register my name, right? So I'm trying to do a registration into a state of me doing business as myself. But then I had the idea, I said, well, shit, the DC the District of Columbia is treated like a state. And everybody, not everybody, but whoever does say that if you have a +4 zip code, that's the federal district. And that's what I have. I'm going to show you the paperwork that I've done in these last 2 videos about getting the EIN and getting the stuff for the United States Postal Service. And all that's already done, everything tied together, names tied to addresses, yada, yada, yada. And now, because you can, if you wanted to, you could fill out an FR 500 online into the District of Columbia, and you get a letter back that says an FR 500 new business was registered today. I'm registered into the District of Columbia. So if what this brother was telling me is true, and I have no reason to doubt it, in a couple of days my life should change. Because the District of Columbia is treated like a state, and we're doing this through our postal district, which is the 5-digit zip code, which is like your place. Right? It's not the name of a city, it's the name of a place. And this goes back to Thomas Jefferson and the 4 levels of the republic. Where you had the national, the state, the county, and then what he called the elemental republic, some division smaller than a county. Well, that would certainly be a zip code. And so it's the territorial district. That's all that is, right? That is your place. That isn't your mailing address, that's your place. Your mailing address is with the +4. And I think that is what ties you to D.C. And so you are now in the federal district, and the capital city of the federal district is Washington, D.C. So that's where you would have to register your business to do business in the federal district, is in Washington, D.C. And we are in federal districts. Everybody's in a postal zone. Those are federal. Right? Everywhere you go, they use gold fringe flags. That's military. That's an army flag, man. It's all federal. The state is defunct, and whatever we think it to be the state is actually, a corporation out of the city of London, putting on an act, acting like they're in charge. So anyways, this is what I did. So give me a minute to regroup, and I'll start putting these little pieces together. And right, what we're going to look at is how I got an EIN, and then what I did with the Postal Service, and those are covered in the previous 2 videos. And then what I did online just today to get this thing called FR 500 registration. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, probably easier to just take these one at a time instead of me trying to keep them all in my head. So the first thing would be you got to get an EIN, right? And you can do it online. You can do it as a sole proprietor. What are you going to do it as? A sole proprietor. If you've already done one as a sole proprietor, then you already have one as a sole proprietor, but it probably isn't in your name. You want to have it in your full legal name. Mine's Robert Allen Rytlewski. And if you don't remember anything else in this whole presentation, just remember this. You have a given name, not a first and a middle. Given name. Everything but your last name is your given name. Put it in the first name box. Right? So a guy just did it the other day, so he made screenshots because I had forgot to. So, right, you're going to put your name. Trade name, DBA optional, whatever. Just put it in. Any place you want a name, just put your name. But then when they get to your personal information, your first name is John Robert, the given name. Mine's Robert Allen. Right? Social Security number. Verified again. The last name is the last name. And middle name, there's nothing. In fact, it says optional. Like Raul pointed out, it says middle name is optional. It's right on there. They're not using it. So don't. And you're the owner because it's a sole proprietorship. Okay, business address. Now he put exactly as a registration. Well, that's how he did it. I'm going to say use the address on your driver's license, on your state ID, whatever it is. Just pick it and use it everywhere, right? And if it's wrong, well, we'll fix it later, but just use one to start with. And so that's the one to use. That's the one I used. The one on my state ID is the one all my other addresses are becoming. Why? For banking purposes. Primary activity? I don't know. Pick something. Right? Now, this is where you use the NAICS code. If you were to go and look, you could find an NAICS code for its trust, comma, estates, and agency accounts, I think. If you were just to put NAICS, trust, comma, estates into Google, you'd probably find it. And so where it says primary activity, put in trust, estates, and agency accounts. And then where it says right here, based on NAICS code, then put in the NAICS code that goes with it. And that's all they need to know. It's not their business, it's your business. And then you got to answer these questions, right? Blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. You're going to say no to all of them unless you already have one, right? And if you have, you need to do something else. But the entity we're talking about is you and you as the sole proprietor doing this. And no, you have never done this before. You may have an EIN as a sole proprietor, but you use the DBA name. Well, you need to go to the IRS and they can change the name for it. Just call them up and ask them. They can do it. Banking purposes, other, got that done, got that done. Date the business was acquired. Now, you can go back 25 years, right? So I would say that's what we want to do is go back 25 years because that's the most you can capture. Myself, I did it for the date that I had on the license I had gotten from the states because this form doesn't look the same as when I did it. They've changed the form after I did it to this one. It looks like to me. So, because you really can't make a mistake, right? If it's wrong here, they won't let you do it. And if it ends up being wrong, they let you do it. Well, go get it corrected later. But, just get this done so you get the damn number. So I did it. A guy tried it yesterday, and he was trying to go back 25 years, and he missed it by a year. So like in 93, no, that didn't work. But when he put 94, it did. Right? So just go back. Well, what's my birthday? 25 years ago. That would have been this year. Put it in, see if it takes it. If it does, you're done. Finish up the information, right? And they will send you an email with an EIN. You're in the system. Right? Now, you have an EIN number and an SSN number. But your business has an EIN number. So that was that part, right? That was simple enough. It's a real short one. Put the name of the business, given name, Social Security, verify it. You're always the owner. You don't have a middle name, and that's your last name. And then if you have any additions, which I believe they have suffixes, now that somebody told me yesterday, I think, or I saw it on something yesterday. Here, they don't show it, but if you have a suffix, they have a suffix thing to put it in. Use the address on your driver's license, state ID. Banking purposes, this is the little noun descriptor of whatever the number is that you end up picking. I suggest using the one for trust, comma, estates, and agency accounts. And you could Google that. You could get the number. You got primary activity info, and you got the information for the NAICS code. You're going to need it again later, but that's all you need it for right now. Right? None of these unless you have, but you haven't. Right? Because you had never done one in your own name, so you wouldn't be watching this video if you had. Right? No additions. Nothing. I'm not saying anything behind the name. Nothing. Robert Allen Retluski, right? Or in this case, John Robert Doe, not comma, a married man, LLC, anything else. No, just you doing business as you. I believe we beat that one to death. Let's move on. Okay. What else we got? Then I went to, oh, not that one. Here we go. Okay. So now I got the EIN done. and you can go to USPS, United States Postal Service. Get up there. Which, let's just do it real quick, right? USPS. My computer works slow when I make a video. I didn't turn enough things off. Come on. Okay, just go to the main page and go down to the bottom and find other USPS sites, business, customer, gateway. Sign in. See, I'm already there, but if you weren't, you'd have to sign up. All right, pick a username. That's where we are. We're at pick a username. Okay, make up a password. Got to answer a couple security questions. Nothing up the sleeve, right? There's nothing tricky about this. I never use a title, right? I don't have a title. They don't have Lord on there, so I can't use it. But I'll take owner, right, if that's what it needs to be. So email address, where your phone number is, first name in a first name box. What's your first name? Well, it's your given name, Robert Allen. I don't have a middle name. In fact, they won't even let you put a middle name in, only a middle initial. No, don't do it. First name and last name, they got asterisks. There must be a reason. Retluski, and then suffix. Okay, here's where you put the suffix. I think on that's what it was. On the IRS, you're going to put it in the last name box if you have a suffix like junior, senior, two. But here, they have a place to put it, so put it in here. And check these boxes. You want to get you're gathering any information somebody will send you right now, you'll take. Right? Or, don't do this. Just sit back and watch, and the rest of us do it. We'll see if it works. But that's the idea, is to gather information. Now you got all done with that. I want you to find your address. And so you click this box, and then you answer some stuff, and you ended up getting something like this that said, thank you for validating your mailing address. Now please help us verify your business. And so you see, this here is not my address. This is my business. This is my place. My mailing address has a +4 on it. And you just don't see it because I didn't do it on the in-between as I did it. I didn't do a screen print. Congratulations, the address you provided has been verified as a valid delivery address. Now I got a +4. Right? Here I didn't, or here I did. Here I didn't. But it said this is my business. It didn't say it was my address. It said it was my business. My business is established in the 5-digit zip code, which is the postal zone, which is the municipality that the post office acts as the municipal corporation of. And you can be a member of it by getting a CRID number, customer registration ID, which, guess what? We're just about there. Okay. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Let's keep going. Then what happened? There we are. Your business location, right? It didn't say my address. My business location. Hey, it's my address too. It'll work out. In the United States. I'm domestic. CRID. Right? That's my customer registration ID with the Postal Service. I got a contract with them. Whether they're de facto or de jure, right? If somebody is still keeping track of the contracts, well, I got a contract with USPS, excuse me. And you get access to all these things that I haven't had a chance to look at yet, but okay. And then you get all done, and then they send you something in the email, and I think you answer and you come back, and I don't remember where these screens came from, but we're already in there. But, it's talking to me, so I'm on my site, I think, in this system now, right? I have a website, or I have a landing page at USPS, right? Got an inbox. Mailing services. Well, they give you an ID. It only gets better, right? So now they're going to give you an ID to go with all this stuff, mailer ID system. And that was mine right there, that number. Well, that number will get turned into the barcode that's on an envelope. And so there's no denying who sent the mail. And then I wanted to get the postmark and the other things I talked about in the other videos. But, that was just, we're moving on. This is all a couple days ago stuff. Okay, but that's how you did all that. And now the next one is, with the post office also, is to get the personal one. And so it was for that intelligent delivery. That's what's important about this thing. It talked about, did I talk about intelligent delivery in this? I don't remember where I saw it, but it's called intelligent delivery. Nevertheless, I'm sure I just went past it and didn't see it. It's how it should go some days. Okay, now this is for your personal. This is for you, the living man, right? We did the business. But as you saw, or no, you didn't see, but you did see that it said where my business was, what my address was. Well, Robert Allen Wertlewski is the first line of the address in this other business one here. Come on, Bob. Bear with me. This one. Right? That's my address. That isn't, well, it is me because I am my business, but if I was an individual working at this business, my name would be up here, and this is the first line of the address, where we would normally expect the numbers to be. And the reason that's important is I said, well, okay, they wanted my address. Well, this is my address. I put it all in just like that, and it said, success, your address is eligible to receive images of your mail, blah, 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 blah. And then it showed the address being this way, where instead of Robert Allen being on top, it was underneath the number. They traded positions, and they made the Robert Allen Wertlewski the care of person. And the care of, if you were to look at the old SS4 form that you would fill out in paper to send to the IRS to get an EIN, they had a line where you could put care of in, right? And so if that's still there someplace, well, that would be your name, Robert Allen Wertlewski, in my case. The reason is that this type of address I'm going to use in just a minute, which, I didn't know existed until they showed me. Thank you very much. They showed me it existed. Okay, so since I could, well, now I got to choose a password. All these steps here, these 2 steps, were just to make sure you could use the system. This is the address. They agreed. They said it was that way. I said, okay, I don't care. I'll just, whatever you say, I'm going to go with it. Make up a name, and you can't use the same business name you had. You had to make up a new one. Password. Security questions. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Create an account. You created an informed delivery account. There you go. To complete the sign up, hit continue. Answer some questions. And so it asked me, which of these roads had I lived on before? Which of these counties had I lived in, or cities had I lived in before? Which of these counties had I lived in before? Which of these phone numbers had I used before? Or none of them, right? It just depends on how they decide to ask you. And boom, I was done. I had an account, right? And so now my individual and my business are both registered in a postal district. To me, that is what domicile is that an old definition of domicile was to register your natural and legal person in the same municipality, same venue, right? So that was all that. And so as I said, I had that much done. And then I talked to this gentleman yesterday about what he had done and the things he was trying, and that he had gotten immediate success in a situation where he sent his paperwork to just a state. He sent it to Minnesota, not his state. An uninterested third party, basically. And they acknowledged it, put the state seal on it, and things have changed drastically in the proceedings he had against him. But if you saw, you had to pay for those in Minnesota, and which is okay, I guess, if you could do it. I pay for it here in Michigan, but I can't do it as a sole proprietor. And I can't do it as an LLC unless I want to put LLC after my name. I didn't want to do those. Well, guess what? Them boys in D.C., they had an answer for that. So they got a thing called the Office of Tax and Revenue. And I wanted to, an FR 500, new business registration, new registrations only, right? Office of Tax and Revenue. And I just followed the instructions and said, what are you going to need? Well, you're going to need your FEIN, federal ID. Hey, that's why you need to go and get your EIN and or social security number. Well, you're going to want both because that's the whole idea, to tie all these things together into one place to say they're all yours. Business name, well, you got that. That's you. Legal form of business, well, you're a sole proprietor. You can do it. Primary business address, yeah, got one of those. Mine happens to be in Michigan, but I'm going to use it just like the USPS agreed it was my addresses, and put them on a form in D.C. and see if they'll take it. Because the guy said he did it in Minnesota, and they took it. So, well, hoorah. Game on. Next. Okay, so you get in here. Very first thing, preliminary questions. You pick the business type, and I said no to everything. Right? It doesn't really matter what they're for. You can go read them if you want, but, you know, will you own or hold in trust any tangible personal property, furniture, computers, books, in the district? No. If you're registering for whatever, you got to do this. Well, I wasn't. I'm registering as a sole proprietorship. And so I put in my FEIN number. As you can see, you got 2 digits and then a dash. So it's not the Social Security, it's FEIN. But look, they do the same thing. They only show the last 4 digits of the EIN number. And this is where you had to put in your activity from before, right? And when I had done my business license in Michigan, I had done it as miscellaneous intermediation because I haven't really looked that close to say, well, hell, there's one right here. But there's one that if I had to do it again, it's trust, estate, and agency accounts, right? You're taking care of your own business. Okay, business name. Well, that's the name of my business. So what's the address? Well, that's my address. The first line of my address is the name of my business, right? So I put that in. And so then the second line is down here. You know, this is the 10955 14 Mile Road Northeast. I don't care if it can't fit. It must be over here someplace. Rockford, Michigan, 49341 8664. Right? And so I said address didn't validate. And so I had to decide, well, I'm going to go back and change it or just validate it and see what happens. And so I decided to just keep on going and validate it. Get down a little bit farther, put in your phone number and so forth, email address, the date that I did it. Well, the day it commenced was today, right? Because until now I hadn't been doing business in the district, but now I am. So we could not verify your address. Do you want us to go ahead anyways? Yes. You know why? Because if they'll register me and I got a mistake in my address, I'll just go fix it later. But I think if I was to look at this, you know, it's on there. As I remember, everything is there because this is the next page that comes up to show, well, here's the address. Is everything okay? Yeah, looks good to me. And then I had to put me in here. So you got to hit, right, this is the owner's information. So hit new, edit, officer. Fill in the box, owner. You're going to use your Social Security, put it in. When did it commence? Well, let's keep it the same. It's not going to cease. First name is your given name, no middle initial, last name. Now I turn the address around, remember, because on the personnel one, what it showed was when I gave them the business address, they said this was my address. I said, okay, that's the one for my personal address. This way, right? Care of Robert Allen Rutluski. So I said, well, I'm just going to go ahead and put her on in that way, and we'll see what happens. Right? So that's why I don't, anybody wants to do it, you just wait and see what happens to me. But I'm just showing you what I did, and I want to make a public record so the people in D.C. will know what I did. I finished it up, right? Phone, email, not hide nothing. USA, sure, didn't have US. I had to use USA. And then it comes up back to this screen. It says, well, you're the owner, and here's your Social Security number. And, well, there's my first name and last. It looks good to me. Let's continue on. I asked him more questions. What type? Well, I'm a sole proprietor. And then I asked these 5 questions, and the only one I said yes to was, do you or will you have an office, warehouse, or other place of business in D.C. or a representative with a District of Columbia location? Yes, I do. I got a senator. I got a congressman. My state has got an office in Washington, D.C. The governor's office does. And I got the church. The church is headquartered out of D.C. I'm a member of the church. Church estate. Everybody's there. Yes, I got representation. And I have the papers to prove that, they represent me. I got a Michigan ID. Yeah, I got a representative. You got an office there. Just go check. Your state's got an office in D.C., believe me. Okay, so everything else is no. Describe fully all your current or expected business activities. What am I going to do? I'm going to do miscellaneous intermediation, period. Right? The thing on my NAICS code. Miscellaneous tax registration. Just a big thing that we're already marked no. And I said, I agree. None. To the next page. Nothing, none. To the next page, verify, and then I just showed the information. All right, there's my address. Well, except Northeast isn't in there, but it's pretty dang close. On the other one, you couldn't see the 10955, so I was like, well, that, there really is no end to how big that is. It's just how many letters they show. But there's my business, right? Registered. With the address overridden. And ready to submit. Yeah, let's put it in, see what happens. Had to give my email address, hit OK. And then it printed this little confirmation out. Your FR 500 new business registration has been submitted to the District of Columbia Office of Tax and Revenue. All right, my registration has been submitted. To access this request for future use, please check the following. Email address, and they gave me a confirmation number. For questions regarding this confirmation, please contact the Customer Service Administration at eServices, something or other, dc.gov. Printable view, okay. All right, so I printed one out, kept a copy, and then hit OK, and hey, so well, I wonder what's happened. Well, then I went to, where are you? Right here. Okay, that was the information I got. So here's my email. I've got a question on the confirmation I received. Confirmation code JDX8VX. Is that what it is? It's just way too small for me. JDX8VX. Please tell me what you can. Thank you. Robert Alavrowski, owner. So Ms. J. Ron Agee, E-Services Customer Service Specialist, Customer Service Administration, Government of the District of Columbia, Office of Tax and Revenue, Office of the Chief Financial Officer, 1101 4th Street, Southwest Suite, W230. Washington, D.C., 20024, directly 202-759-1946. I don't have to go to the call center. I got her direct number, where she said, thank you for contacting E-Services. And FR 500 new business was registered today. And FR 500 new business was registered today. And when the application was submitted, a confirmation code was given to confirm the application was submitted successfully. So it was submitted successfully, and it was registered. I'm not waiting to be registered. It says it's been registered. Here it said has been submitted. Right? Didn't say that it had been registered, just that it had been submitted. This one says no. It was registered. It's a past event. I'm in the book. I don't know what it's going to mean yet. I don't know if my address is right. I don't know. But I'm in the book. We'll get answers later. But that's my public record for today. I got to go. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you.